Welcome. Today starts a second episode in Sun Tzu Said. I'm sorry it took a whole year, actually over a whole year, to do so. I actually thought this thing was kind of a flop, and then I looked at how many views it got, and in the course of a year, it's actually the most viewed on the channel, as well as the most viewed out of those that are a year old. So I thought, why not? Let's see if it'll be successful again. So for today's episode of Sun Tzu Said, we're going to beef it up and put in some cool terms, starting off with complementary opposites, and then we'll continue on to misinformation and disinformation, which if you follow SOSI Concepts, which I highly recommend, you'll actually find out that in the next section of the Warriors Rulebook we'll be getting into those terms. And lastly, we'll go over strategy and tactics. So sit back, relax, and enjoy. This is Sun Tzu Said. Ever thought that there was more to life, but you just can't really figure out? Well, that's what I thought a few years ago. And then I found the Warriors Rulebook, and I was excited to see what I found. The Warriors Rulebook is an online series of articles developed by Gary Gagliardi that takes Sun Tzu's principles from the art of war and puts them in a modern format. In this rulebook, it breaks it down into 9 sections, starting off with positioning to understand strategic positions, and then moves in through the strategic skill cycle of listen, aim, move, claim. Sun Tzu's Warriors rules can be useful in every part of your life, including the professional and business side of your life, or the personal life. Each article has a situation where we discuss a strategic challenge and then the opportunity that lies within that situation. Following then are Sun Tzu's rules, which teach how to use the opportunity that was just presented. And then after that is an illustration of those rules. Getting trained in this rulebook does not entail memorizing all these rules. While each rule is useful, the heart of Sun Tzu's system is the methods that connect all these rules together. Otherwise, we're developing a gut instinct for the rules that can be used wherever you are, whenever you are, because they're a part of how you see strategic situations. You can find these series of rules on www.sciencestrategy.org. And while there's one article printed daily, so if you came to the site every day, you could see the whole rulebook. But by becoming a member, you get tons of other stuff that you have access to, including the whole Warriors Rulebook. As a member, you can write blogs, check spelling errors, and even join the strategy online by taking the Warriors class, all of which gives you contribution points. What's contribution points? These are points that are really like money on the site, and you can actually buy anything on the website through these points. You can pay for a book or a strategic game purely by these points or in part. So check out www.sciencestrategy.org today, and definitely check out the Warriors Rulebook while you're at it. What are complementary opposites? 1. Any pair of necessary but seeming opposite sides of the same system that create one another. For example, in competition, production produces the resources we need for competition, and competition wins the rewards that we use to produce. These are seemingly opposite sides of this system that create one another. 2. Two balancing forces that create a stasis of a strategic position, which are leveraged to advance a position. Balance our focus between the climate and the ground to see our opportunities and to win resources. These in harmony together produce the environment of a strategic position. 3. The contrasting difference between two conditions that defines their essential nature. This is exactly like how light defines dark, good defines bad, and happiness defines sorrow. 4. The many natural forms of emptiness and fullness. Like need and satisfaction, the difference between new and experienced, hungry or full, and many more examples. For you, complementary opposites can mean finding the opportunities you have to improve your position, finding the good in bad situations, or that certain strengths in competitors will create certain weaknesses. Disinformation. 1. Representing a situation or condition the opposite of what it is. Like if you were to look out a window and you see it's sunny outside and someone were to tell you that it's raining. Often sarcasm is a lot like this. 2. The intentional use of information to damage decision-making. Often the big lie. Double agents often work this way, feeding their country that they were originally working for lots of lies about what the situation is with the country they're now working for. Any daring use of false information. Sun Tzu's mental models, as found in the Warriors Rulebook, help us filter out disinformation to keep ourselves protected. Misinformation. Any distortion of conditions of a situation. Exaggerating or minimizing aspects of the situation intentionally or accidentally. and any missing information. Just about all information is considered as misinformation because it doesn't include the whole picture of the situation. That's why when we're collecting information, we take it all as puzzle pieces and we puzzle over time to see the situation for as it is. Misinformation is not only just missing information, but exaggerating or minimizing certain aspects of a condition. Honestly, people give their honest opinions and see things so narrowly that they focus on that and it becomes a big exaggerated point when it really isn't. So misinformation can happen even accidentally. As strategists, we learn to look at the whole picture of the situation, which comes by building information over time. For part 2 of this episode of Sun Tzu Said, where we discuss strategy and tactics, visit this link here.